I'm Jim Thompson, and I want to thank you for, first of all, opening this email. And I hope that you'll watch this entire video. What I'm going to do in this video is share with you in much greater detail what you're going to be doing in the first week of the Getting More Referrals Now program. And we're going to take a deep dive into some of these areas. And hopefully, you'll understand by the time you're finished exactly what we're doing. However, I want to make this clear. If you have any questions, and I'm sure there's going to be some questions, please send me an email. I will be glad to answer it. But I hope that you will at least join in on this first week to see if it's something for you. And I want to make this very clear. If you get in and, for some reason you didn't start on Tuesday and you didn't start on Wednesday, uh, the key here is just starting. Getting into the program on a particular day, on a Tuesday or Wednesday. If that doesn't happen, that's fine. Let's just say that something happened. You had on court, had motions, you had all kinds of things going on in your office. Sit down and pick it up on Thursday and Friday. But listen to this all the way through. And as you look at the tracking worksheet, as you look at the action items, start picking those up, because then, as I've said, you can go into the second week, which again is complementary, and you can, hit, I guess for lack of a better term, hit the road running as you get into the program. I know that this is brand new to many, many people. So please take the time to look at this. And again, if it's something that might work for you, that's great. If it's not going to work for you, even if you take the first week and it's not working for you, that's fine. But the bottom line is, and I always tell clients, just start. And if it works, fine. If it doesn't work, that's fine too. But the bottom line again is starting. So here's the rest of the program. And again, any questions that you may have, please send me an email. This is your tracking worksheet for week one. This is where the rubber really hits the road, as they say. I'm going to talk about this in greater detail and go through each of the items. But if you haven't downloaded the tracking worksheet yet, please go ahead and do it. And you'll have it in front of you as we talk and go through some of these items. I mentioned in a previous email, the reason that this program works so well is that you are going to be held accountable. Now, let me back up just a little bit. For the first 2 weeks, you're going to be holding yourself accountable. And if you have any questions or problems or any needs in that regard, you can send me an email and I'll try and help you out. But you're not going to get the daily and weekly coaching that I do in the regular program. But if you start holding yourself accountable for the things that I have put on the tracking worksheet for week 1 and 2, that will get you ready for the rest of the weeks that come after that. But the accountability factor is probably, along with the tracking worksheet, the two most important areas of this particular course. And as we go along, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. So everything else, you're going to need tools to get you to completing your goals. And what I'm going to talk about now are the tools that you're going to be using in your first week of this program and in the second week, and if you continue on the third, fourth, fifth weeks. But the first thing I want to talk about are the tools you're going to be using this first week. Now, what I'd like to do is kind of reintroduce you to the tracking worksheet. And we're going to talk a lot about this tracking worksheet because, as I said, it is really the key to the program. I know you're probably going to have some questions with regard to the items on this tracking worksheet. I'm going to try as we go along, and I've got a few more slides we're going to talk about in depth about some of the action items. But if you have questions, send me an email. I will answer them. If I get questions, 5 or 6 or 7 questions on the same problem or same question, I will send an email to everyone that's asked those questions. But here's the thing. This is really the crux of what you're going to be doing. And I'm going to spend probably a little more time on this tracking worksheet than I normally would on as we go through the program. But you'll see it's for week 1, and you'll get a separate tracking worksheet for week 2, et cetera, et cetera. You'll notice that, as I had previously said, it starts on Tuesdays. And again, the reason for that is because as a former trial lawyer, I know Mondays got crazy, they got hectic, and nothing seemed to ever get done on Monday except the panic mode, if you will. So I start the program every Tuesday. It goes through Monday. But there's another reason for that. It kind of gives you a Saturday and a Sunday to catch up. I don't want you I'm not really saying, there's certain things you can't do and you can catch up on Saturday and Sunday. But here's the thing: I know life happens. Things come up, things that get in the way of doing some of these things. So uh, you may have to use some of the Saturday and Sundays to catch up. I don't really want you working on Saturday and Sunday, but again, it's for most attorneys that's almost inevitable. But as you look at this, and you hopefully have downloaded it as per my previous email that went out, um, we're going to talk about a number of different things. But as you go through this tracking worksheet, as you do these items, you want to check them off, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But many attorneys tell me that they just don't have the time to do this. And one of the things I want you to do sometime during this first week is watch the productivity webinar. Actually, it's a webinar, but I put it into a YouTube so you can watch that, and hopefully that will get you the extra 1 or 2 or maybe even more hours a day that you need to do some of these items on your action list. Now, uh, we're going to talk quite a bit about each of these in particular, so I don't want to um, right now go into each and every item. But one of the things I want to just correct, you'll see number 6 there. It says list blank current clients. That's going to be, and I don't know why it didn't come out that way, but that's going to be on a Tuesday and Wednesday. The same thing goes for list blank past clients Tuesday and Wednesday. And I'm going to share with you how many clients I want you to work with. And then I want you to, on the Thursday, Friday, and Monday, take a deep dive. We're going to talk about that in a much greater detail as far as a deep dive into what you want to do as far as these particular clients. Now, remember, this is the first week, and I know from past experience, and that's why I'm doing this 2 week kind of complimentary preview course. I used to do 1 week, and attorneys took a while to even get into the swing of things. So I decided, well, let me go ahead and I'll do the first week, I'll do the second week, and then on the third week, if you want to stay on the course and do the rest of the course, which will be weeks, an additional 5 weeks. So I'm not cutting you short with the first 2 weeks. You're going to have an additional 5 weeks that we're going to be working with you. But again, I want to make it clear, after the first 2 weeks, I'm only going to be able to do a maximum of 15 people that will be on the course for the weeks after week 2. So I want to let you know that in advance. And if it's something, again, that you find beneficial as we go along, I would certainly like you to stay on the course. If for some reason you don't find it beneficial, it hasn't cost you anything except some of your time, and hopefully, even with doing some of these items, are really going to help you in the long run. So let's dive right in, and please pay close attention because we're going to talk about some very important things. What I really want to do right now is talk about the action items that are on your tracking worksheet. I want to take kind of an in-depth look at these action items, and I'm sure that some of you are going to initially say, well, I've seen some of those action items, and I don't know how they can possibly help me get more clients. But please bear with me. You'll see how this plan all comes together. So as I go through each and every one of these particular items, action items, that you're going to be doing this first week, just please keep an open mind. Okay, I know you're looking at this and thinking, what does this have to do with getting more clients? Well, let me share this with you. Okay, first of all, if you plan ahead, if you plan your day, what we're going to talk about is planning your day the night before. And if you plan your day the night before, you are going to be more productive with your time, which means that you're going to have more time to spend on getting clients and doing some of the things we're going to talk about. We all, as attorneys, and I've been there, as attorneys, we are crisis managers. So we get to the office on Monday morning, and at 8 o'clock, we are making the coffee because nobody else is there, and we have to make the coffee. And all of a sudden at 8:30, the secretary walks in and says, Jim, your best client just called and his kid's in jail and you got to take care of it. So you spend the next 2 or 3 hours getting that resolved. So then you get back, you sit down at your desk, and you go, okay, what do I have to do? Well, you haven't really thought about what you have to do. If you have taken the time the night before to plan what you need to do, then you can look at it and go, well, I've already wasted, well, I haven't wasted, but I've lost 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever the case may be. And you sit there and go, okay, what is on the rest of my schedule for today that I really need to get done? And I can move some things around, move some things up, maybe move some of the things, and we'll talk about this over to Tuesday or Wednesday. But the bottom line is you have a plan and you're going to know how to implement that plan. Other than that, you're just going to go helter skelter and do this and do that and do this and do that. All of a sudden it's 6:30 and you haven't really accomplished an awful lot. So planning your day the night before is going to get you more productive hours during that day, and that means you've got more time to spend getting referrals from your clients. So just what do I mean by own the week? Well, here's what I want you to do. And I'm sure most of you have never done this before. I never did it before. But I want you to keep a diary or a journal. You can call it whatever you want. I prefer to call it a journal. It's not really a diary. But I don't want you to panic just yet. I don't want you to be thinking, well, Jim, I just don't have time to write 2 or more pages in a journal, and I'm not going to ask you to do that. What I want you to do is keep a journal that says, okay, at the end of the day, what took place? What were your good things that happened to you? What are the things you could have done better? Notice I didn't say the bad things that happened to you. I want to stay away from that phrase, but what could you have done better? And it could be a sentence, 2 sentence, 3 sentence, whatever you feel comfortable doing. So that at the end of today, you sit down and you write, well, we had a great meeting with a new client, or I went to court and I should have said this to the judge and I didn't. Just make that kind of note, and you can put it in your computer, or you can get an actual little notebook or a journal, whatever you feel comfortable using. This is your own choice, obviously. But at the end of the week, okay, and here's where it's really important. This is what I mean by own the week. Uh, so many lawyers and other business people I talk to, we sit down and we go, well, what did you do last week? And they really can't tell me. And I will tell you, I have done the same thing. All of a sudden, it's Monday, and then all of a sudden, it's Friday, and I can't really sit down and say, well, we accomplished this, or we did this, or we didn't do this. So at the end of the week, in this case, Monday, or even over the weekend, if you will, whichever you feel comfortable doing, you can sit down, you can take a look at what you accomplished during the week and maybe what you didn't accomplish or what you could have done better. So that's what I want you to do. When I talk about saying keep a journal, I'm not talking about, and most people think 3 or 4, you got to write 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pages. No, it could be as little, like I've said, as 1 line, 2 lines, 3 lines, whatever you feel comfortable with. What I have found, quite frankly, is when um, some of my clients have started doing this. They start out with the 1 liner, the 2 liner, and all of a sudden they start writing and they write a page or 2 pages. I'm not asking you to do that. I wouldn't grade you on doing that. But I want you to at least start thinking about doing it each day, and it'll grow on you. It takes a little bit of time, and everything we're talking about, and I want you to understand this. Everything we're talking about in this program is a building step. You're going to build and do something today that's going to help you tomorrow. That's going to help you the rest of the week. That's going to help you in the weeks in the future. So that's really what I'm talking about. Another one of the things we're going to talk about is your setting goals. Now, and I will say this up front. Most people, myself included, we set goals maybe at the beginning of the year, and we, you know, quite frankly, probably never reach those goals. And probably many of us, the first time we think about those goals is New Year's Day when we're writing them down and we never look at them again. And this is across the board. I think I've seen statistics that 90% of the people never really set goals. And I want to share with you, and I put it in the email I sent, the email setting from Brian Tracy, and I hope you'll look at it because basically what Brian Tracy talks about is not setting yearly goals or monthly goals, but what he talks about is daily goals. And the theory is if you set daily goals, you're going to write these goals down, 5, 10, whatever, and normally I'll talk to people once they get going is setting 10 goals each day. And they're going to change. Don't go back and look what you did yesterday. Just write in your journal what are the 10 goals you want to accomplish. You could do that the night before, you could do that the morning before, or whatever, or the morning of, whatever. But you're going to set these 10 daily goals. And what it does is it all starts you thinking about goals. And as you go along, you'll see where a particular goal or a series of goals you keep on writing down. For instance, you may say, I want to buy a new car. I want a red convertible. And tomorrow you write down, I want to buy a new car. I want a blue convertible, and so on. So when these goals keep appearing, these are your really true goals. And again, when I've had this program, when I've done this program with folks, I get some blowback. They said we simply can't do this. We started out and it's just too much work. Start out with 5 goals and increase it. Do what you feel comfortable with. But the bottom line is you're going to be doing something. And where do goals fit into getting clients? Well, just start setting your goals. Set your goals as to what you want to do in this program, what you want to do as far as some of the things we talk about, what you want to do as far as actually going out and working on getting clients. And that's where the goal setting comes in. No, I know right off the bat, I'm going to get some pushback with what I'm about to say because, well, you'll see what I'm talking about. I would like you to read or listen, and primarily listen, an hour a day. And I'll talk about what I want you to listen to or read in a minute. But the pushback I'll get is, well, Jim, you told me it's only going to take an hour a day for me to do all these things that you're asking me to do, and that's true. But this is a little bit separate. And why I say it's separate, you could be listening 15 minutes a day as you're walking from one office to the courtroom or the court, or in your car, or you could read, 15, 20 minutes at night. We're going to talk about some of the things that you should be listening to, but right off the bat, I would certainly um, recommend Brian Tracy's, not Brian Tracy's, but Michael Gerber's The E-Myth, which is a great book, especially for solo attorneys and small firms. I basically have the CD, which is much easier for me to listen to. But after I listened to the CD, I went back and this is many years ago, bought the book because I like seeing it in a hard copy. But as we go through the program, I will suggest books that you can look at, things you can read. And I will tell you this, I have a number of books and I cherry pick books. These are books on marketing. They're not really, some of them have to do with attorney marketing and rainmaking and things of that nature. But the other books that I have and the other things that I listen to talk about marketing and how an entrepreneur should be marketing their business. So it's not just the attorney marketing, it's going to be overall marketing, such as Bob Berg's Endless Referrals, like some of the other books, Michael Gerber's other books, just some of these things, and you can listen to them or you can read them. But I want you to start thinking in terms of reading or listening an hour a day. And that is included in the program or in the hour a day, but it really isn't. And I hope you understand exactly what I'm saying about that. And if you don't, send me an email and I'll hopefully try to explain it a little bit better. This is perhaps one of my favorite slides. And it really drills down on what is the problem with attorneys and other small business owners when it comes to getting business from clients. Most attorneys or other business owners when they sell a product, but most attorneys when they complete a matter, that client walks out the door. And you as an attorney do not follow up with that client. That client knows you, likes you, and trusts you. But you know what? The client walks out the door, that client's going to forget all about you in a month. And what have you lost? You have lost the opportunity to maybe do more business with that client or have that client refer you to other potential clients. And the slide indicates, you do the matter, you finish what you're doing for the client walks out the door, and what do? You go searching for a new client. You spend money, you go to networking events, you do all this, things that are going to cost you money when you got your client right out there. And that little penguin, I think, says it all. It says, should I tell him I am here? I really loved you. I love what you did for me. Please treat me right, and I will be glad to send more business to you. I will be glad to refer you. But you know what? You have to take care of me. So the thing here is, and we're going to talk in a lot of detail about this, is how you can cultivate the clients that you already have as far as becoming what I call lifetime clients. That is, more matters come in from them or more referrals come in from them. So again, think about this slide the next time that you finish a client matter and that client walks out the door. And we're going to talk about and teach you how you can stay in contact with that client in a non-salesy way so that that client knows you. You stay top of the mind. And we're going to talk a lot about top of the mind. But please understand, this is a slide that could bring you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of business. So I digressed a little bit with the previous slide talking about taking care of your clients. And what I want you to be thinking about and what is on that tracking worksheet is the first week, I want you to make a list of your current clients. Okay. Now, that could be, 10 clients, it could be 15. Some of the attorneys I'm talking to may have 50 current clients or only 3 current clients. But I would really like you to limit it to probably no more than 15 or at the max 20 current clients that you can, who could really be great referral sources for you. They already know, like, and trust you. So I want you to make a list of those clients, and we'll show why as we go along in this program. And the other thing I want you to do is list 15 past clients, or if you don't have that many clients, 3 past clients, or if you have 40 past clients, I want the top 15 or maybe 20 that you could sit down and say, these are the people, these are my past clients that really liked what I did for them, and I really need to target them as far as getting referrals. Now, this is the first week. We're going to show you what you're going to be doing with these lists in the coming weeks. Now, in the worksheet that I sent on the Tuesday and Wednesday, I want you to just list these uh, clients that you have now and your past clients. Just go through and list. And then on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday and Monday, I want you to really start digging down. And what do I mean by digging down? Well, I want you to think about a number of things. And if you don't have an intake sheet that lists this information, I want you to start thinking about developing an intake sheet, and I'll send you one. But I want you to list, obviously, you have the name and the address and the phone number and that information of the client. But do you have the spouse's name? Do you have her occupation? I'm going to tell you why that's important. Do you have her birth date? Do you have their children, their birth dates? Maybe what their children do. If they have grown children, maybe they are in another business. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But I want you to drill down on these folks. Now, it's probably going to require going into past files and gleaning this information. And that's why I just want you to do uh, at the max 15. I don't want you to overburden yourself. But if you really get going in this and all of a sudden it dawns on you, hey, I got a lot of past clients I can reconnect with. And this is what we're talking about. We're talking about reconnecting with your past clients. With your current clients, we're talking about staying in touch with them. And with your past clients, we're talking and going to be talking about reconnecting with these clients. Now, let me go back a little bit. Let's say that you have the information on the spouse. Maybe she's a CEO, or maybe she's another attorney in another practice area. That could be somebody that could become a referral partner for you. Maybe their children uh, are, maybe one is a CEO of a small business. Maybe they're a banker. When you have this information, it gives you a ready source of potential new clients that you can refer business to. And hopefully they will refer and reciprocate with you. Now, I just said something very important. I want you to be thinking also of how you can refer business to other potential sources. It may not be other lawyers. It may be, like I said, a banker or somebody that's in a small business, a plumber, whatever. You want to be in a situation where you be the go-to person. Somebody needs a plumber. Oh, I know a plumber I can send you to. I know an electrician, or I know a banker. And we're going to talk in much greater detail on that. But for right now, all I really want you to do is list these folks and dig down as best you can as to what information you have already have on these people. And I'm going to send you a what I've used and refined, and other folks have used and refined, and what I think is maybe one of the best client intake forms. But again, this is my version of it. You can do whatever you want with it, but you'll be getting that. So you see how this is starting to come together. Now, don't get ahead of me. I just want you to do these things for this week. And in the second week, I'm going to have you do some other things. We'll go back and still going to have you plan the day the night before, as I said, and I'm going to have you write in your journal. I'm going to do the goal thing and this type of thing. Those are going to be the 3 or 4 or 5 action items you'll do all throughout the total program. And we're going to be doing different things with regard to your clients as we go along. And I know there'll be some questions. And if you have questions, again, please feel free to send me an email, and we'll answer those individually. My previous email, I mentioned how you need to be held accountable. Obviously, that's one of the keys, and maybe one of the keys as far as being held accountable is getting a partner that will hold you accountable. And as I said in the previous email, I've got a special program worked out if you bring a partner on board, or an accountability partner on board. But we'll talk about that in more detail. But start thinking about someone who can become your accountability partner. That could be another lawyer in your office, another lawyer in another office in a similar practice, or maybe a different practice. It could be a spouse, but someone that could hold you accountable. Because let's face it, we all need to be held accountable for what we are doing each and every day. Because if we're not held accountable, at least in my case, I'll go off and, I don't have to do that today. It's a nice, beautiful day out. Haven't had a nice day. I think I'll go out and play golf, or I'll do this. But I've got somebody that's kind of looking over my shoulder and saying, Jim, it's okay for you to go play golf today, but did you get the things done that you needed to get done? And that's what I'm talking about. So be thinking about an accountability partner, and we'll talk more about that as we go along in this program. We all know that ideas alone will not bring us success. The only thing that's going to really bring you success is taking action. And this is how we've designed this program so that you will have things that you can do, action items, if you will, that are designed to get you more referrals and obviously build your practice. Know that, well, first of all, I want to thank you for watching this video, but I know that I probably not answered all of your questions. But if you do have a question, send me an email and I will answer it. The other thing is, I don't expect you to start this program and get everything done in a day. I want you to think in terms of starting. Just start. And so today you get the information I just put out, and tomorrow you go through your accountability or you go through the traffic tracking worksheet and you get a couple of things done. That's fine. That's what I want you to do. And then the next day you're going to do more. Next day. It's a building process, as I've said before. And again, this is new to just about everybody uh, that this email is going to. And there's going to be a lot of questions. And if you have questions, send me an email, and I will certainly try to answer any concerns or questions that you have. And I hope that you will at least stay with this program for the next 2 weeks. And there's going to be bumps. You're going to go, oh, I didn't get that done on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. Boy, I don't know whether I want to do this. Well, if you didn't get it done on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, pick up on Friday. It is a process of starting something. It's a process of starting and getting going. So I wish you the best of luck. And again, anything I can do to help you with this program or getting more business, please do not hesitate to contact me.